In the fall of 2019, over 50 million K-12 students headed back to public classrooms. Although this number can seem overwhelming, I believe that public education is really no bigger than a classroom. As a public school educator and guidance counselor, I have worked with students from pre-K through 12th grade. Being involved with classroom education endeavors, programs, and policy has given me an arena for significant educational observation. Within the four walls of a classroom, public education makes its mark. What lesson did you learn in the classroom? Do you remember a certain teacher? If so, why? Was there an event, activity, or lesson that you can recall today? The classroom influences both educational and emotional outcomes, contributing to lifelong development and identity. Today, I will be addressing important factors that impact learning in the classroom and discuss each of them with you. They are the role of the educator, the role of the student, and the role of the educational environment. Let's begin with the role of the educator. A professor from Northwestern University said that test scores capture only a fraction of a teacher's role. The well-being of a student includes social and emotional wellness that influence future long-term impact factors such as health and employment. The educator brings personal characteristics, patterns of student interaction, and approaches to teaching in the classroom. Their role impacts the education of the students in significant ways that are inherent to the educator and absorbed by students. The personal characteristics of a classroom educator is perhaps the most important factor in a classroom educator, and it is absorbed by the students. Personal characteristics, such as personal core values and beliefs, impact what a teacher teaches. I recall an interview given to me by a school superintendent. After almost 2 hours of questioning, he stopped and said, "I cannot by law ask you what religion you are. However, you attended Brigham Young University," he said. My response to him was, our country was founded with a basis on the 10 Commandments. I will impart nothing less. I was hired. So for an educator in the classroom, it's not just professional credentials, but who they are as people. What you bring is who you are. Did you have any memorable teachers? If so, what were some of their aspects that made them so memorable? I remember an 8th grade homeroom teacher who kept tigers as pets. She would frequently bring in photos of herself posing with her tigers. Needless to say, don't try that at home. I remember the finest lecture I ever had. She was completing her PhD at Rice University. Interactions between educator and student shape the day and set the standard for living. Every interaction between student and educator should be professional and respectful at all levels and at all times. This past Valentine's Day, I went into a high school classroom, armed with foam hearts and candy, that is. Now, it might be surprising to some to watch a 16-year-old male teen rummage through a bag of foam hearts to find just the right one. But I can guarantee you on that day, that can be a difficult day for some teens. We celebrated together, and genuine smiles were seen all around. Educational materials and the way they are presented by an educator can illuminate knowledge and bring to light many wonderful things and aspects and create memorable, lasting experiences for students that are carried for quite a long time. The role of the student in the classroom as well impacts themselves and those around them. One may ask, what is the role of a student in the classroom as they navigate learning within those four walls? Each student has value and should develop responsibility for their own learning and supporting those around them. Every student should perceive that they are of value in the classroom. A student should be able to share their insights, opinions, and ideas, which add to them feeling and ownership in their own learning and it helps create a natural path for personal responsibility. A student also impacts the learning and development of those around them, their classmates. Peer relations have a significant impact on classroom learning. The support of peers can greatly increase the success in the learners in both educational and social endeavors. Learning together and supporting one another builds community and creates a joyful learning atmosphere. The reaction of classmates cheering one another on, even if one of them is headed with the ball towards the wrong goal, makes everything okay as they feel the love and support of their classmates. I hope that I have made the importance of a student's role in learning clear. Now let's examine the role of the educational environment within the classroom, which promotes accountability and a love of knowledge as participants become a learning community. Learning as a community develops our sense of who we are and who we can become. A learning environment can be breathed in almost like air. The acquisition of knowledge is powerful, shedding light into our minds and hearts, being and desiring to be accountable for what we learn is crucial for our own education. Positive emotions can assist in the learning process. A professor from Stanford, Linda Hammond, says, "We actually learn in a state of positive emotion much more effectively. That has huge implications for what we do in schools." Positive emotions assist in the learning process, helping us to make those meaningful connections. Some years ago in my educational journey, I met Sherman, a 13-year-old boy who could only read 5 words. Those words included the, and. Over a period of time, I reconstructed his learning environment, materials, and atmosphere. At the end of many weeks, as it was my time to leave, he stopped and said, please don't go. You understand how I learn. The others don't." Sherman found out for himself that different materials, a belief in that he himself could learn again, and that different techniques had a power to help him learn. The day-to-day operation of a classroom contributes greatly to the overall educational experience. The role of educators, students, and the learning environment impact classroom education. The well-being of students includes many factors. The contribution of what teachers teach and what students learn shape our neighbors, our neighborhoods, our communities, and our nation. Our understanding the importance of the classroom, the impact that it has, should be on par with the importance of the lives of the students that learn therein. Love of the fundamental right to learn reigns paramount. The lasting influence of the classroom impacts all of us. America's classrooms are America's future, one classroom at a time.